here, So Is Your Podcast. I have another interview for you today. I got to sit down with Mohamed Karim to talk about his career, his life before acting, which already sounded like a lot, and his acting career in other countries as well as in America, and of course his newest movie, A Day to Die. I know we've had a lot of coverage on this movie, but it was really an impressive action movie, and I think you should check it out. And getting to talk to Mo and Wes Miller, the director, and I did a review for it, so check all that on our channel, and of course check out A Day to Die, available now on digital. Enjoy the interview, because Mo's going to do a better job of kind of giving you the rundown of all the lives he's lived, better than I can, of course. Hey everyone, Adam here, So Is Your Podcast. I'm sitting down with I should have asked you before, Karim or Kareem?
Karim is fine.
Karim, okay. Sorry, I'm so bad with names and I always forget to ask before I press record.
Don't worry about it.
So Mo, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing good, yeah. We were just talking a little bit before, but thanks for coming on. I'm really looking forward to this.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, me too. So we have a lot of movie stuff to get into with your new movies coming out, or one that just came out in a project that's in the works. But before we get there, I always like to ask creative people to go back to the beginning of their creative journey. And I was reading your bio, and it looks like you had a whole full life before acting. So you're doing a lot.
Yeah. I grew up in medical sort of background. My parents are doctors. My whole family are, from medical background. Most of them are doctors. So it looks like, somebody had to be a doctor from my generation. So it was me in the family. So, but I loved it. I felt like, since this is the thing, I grew up with my dad and mom, clinic, hospitals and all that. So I kind of okay, so I guess I'm going to be a doctor. But the thing is, I always wanted to do something for myself, something that I feel really passionate about. Not that I don't feel passionate about medicine, but I feel like I felt like I want to do something for myself, for my own thing, that nobody can help me out. Capricorns does that to themselves, man. They always want to go hard on themselves. So what I did was, I tried so much hard to do what I love, which is acting. So I didn't know where to start. So I had to do the hard way and, go to studios, approaching directors, filmmakers and stuff, until, step by step I started doing, while I'm studying medicine, medical school in Egypt, I started doing roles here and there. In no time, I started doing lead roles over there, films and TV. And then I hosted I think the biggest show in the Middle East, if it's not in the world, which is The Voice. I was the host of The Voice in the Middle East. So that was pretty exciting. And then, I think
the version of The Voice that you were the host of probably gets 10 times the reach of the US version, because it's such a wide, you're in so many countries.
It is, because, you're not approaching Egypt. You're not approaching The Voice France is just for France. The Voice Holland is for Holland. The Voice USA for USA. But over there, it's for the whole entire region, which is, I think, covers more than 22 countries. They all speak same language, which is Arabic. So that was kind of cool for me. But my main focus was acting. The host gig came after, became established actor, successful actor over there. Having your films toured, respectable sort of film festival, like Cannes Film Festival, winning awards and stuff. This is how I got my, my gig for that. But before even that, I came to high school here in LA, and that kind of changed the whole, everything. I didn't really expect it at all, but one day my dad decided just hey, you're gonna continue your high school. I'm of course I'm gonna continue my high school. He's no, in LA. I'm what? Back then I had no English whatsoever. So I had to learn it the hard way, man. I just literally jumped into a plane. I came to LA and I just had to deal with it. And I think it was the best thing ever happened to me. It just changed my life. got into high school. There were a lot, like million things I need to catch up on here in terms of like everything, like culture, like everything, right? Like I had like an intensive course in 1 year what the
I'm
world
sure.
is all about. Like
Why,
you have 1 year to understand what the hell is going on in the world.
and learn the language.
Yes. So it was like, what? Prom tomorrow? What is prom? Like all that thing, like happened to me like in 1 year. And, it was really, really cool. I had an amazing experience here. And then
why did your dad choose LA of all places? I mean, nothing against LA, but why not New York or Chicago or any other major city?
Because I had a cousin here.
Okay.
He used to live in LA, and this is how it all started. If we have relatives like in New York, it would have been New York. It just happened that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of my relatives was here in LA, so it just happened. But right after I finished like the senior year, graduated, I got accepted to medical school in Egypt. So I had to make this decision to go back to medical school, but I had a deal with my parents. I'm like, listen, okay, I'm going to go to medical school. I'm going to, go back, but we're going to have a deal. I'm going to be an actor as well. They flipped. And I'm going to be, going to LA more often. I love cinema, Hollywood and all that. So I didn't know that 1 year had that huge impact on me that, I had just like, I think I was blessed that I came in such an early age to see what's happening and see other people came to Hollywood and what happened to him, and, who did what and who really kind of like pursue his career, what happened at the end. So I get to learn a lot about others' experiences, what happened to him in Hollywood. And I think that was a really great privilege. So I learned a lot. So I just, had a very long-term plan that, just focus on, building your acting career overseas and just do as much as possible, do great stuff, be a respectable actor and everything. And then when it's the right time to be in Hollywood, it's the right time. And that's exactly what happened. And I had a very long-term plan to do my transition and be in Hollywood. Didn't know it's going to work or not. Just like anybody else here had the Hollywood dream coming over. But I think so far, it's worked so far. I'm really happy.
Yeah.
And I see lately, it's not just me. I mean, the fact that 2019, I think it was a great year, especially from people that originally, artists from Egypt. Rami Malek won an Oscar. Rami Youssef for the Hulu show, Hulu show, he won a Golden Globe. Mina Masood, he did the Aladdin, and that year I remember Script to Settle feature film. So I think I realized that there is a little bit of change and acceptance happening in Hollywood. Not as we all wish, but it's kind of like it's a good start.
Better late than never, right?
Yeah.
So in high school, that's kind of when the acting bug really got to you. Did you act in high school, like high school theater or anything, or you just got interested in it then?
Yeah, I did actually. I did like a couple times, but I felt like I used to watch all these plays and movies and start to, copy paste and do whatever they're doing. And out of the blue, like I think the first thing that I realized is like where my family and especially my parents and my sisters started to see that I'm good at good at what I'm doing. Like every time we watch like a new movie, I started acting that like I pick one or two roles and start doing it. So that's where it all started. And I always wanted to when you're like in school or in a party, whatever, these little kids that they want to like be like the center of attention, sort of like, right. It's not, but I felt like I have so much to offer to do beside, which a great thing being a doctor, but I felt like I want to do something more, something that, oh, I love your cat, man.
Thanks. They always know when the recording's going on.
You're like, you didn't feed me well last night. This is what you get. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it just it's all started from there in a very young age, and I believe in something. To be honest, I believe that sometimes you need to take risks in life. All of us always afraid to get out of the comfort zone, right?
Oh,
But
sure.
I believe once you get out from your comfort zone, that's where you become creative. And I know it's risk, but guess what? Like if you're taking like sort of like maybe it doesn't have to be like all in risk, right? Like at least 40%, 30%, 20%, whatever you can. I think if you succeed, the success here is big. This is my take into it, but
That makes sense. Yeah, because no one's gonna knock on your door and say, "Hey, I heard you were interested in acting. You want to start a movie with Nicolas Cage?"
exactly, Adam. Yeah, you got my point. Yeah, and nobody will give you anything, man. Like you just have to, hustle yourself. I've been hustling I've been hustling all my life, to be honest. Whether overseas, in Europe, here. I believe it doesn't matter how much really good representation you have or how much like you have to hustle. You have to do your own thing. You have to
For sure.
work hard. Doesn't matter that I did successful sort of like 2 feature films. That means I made it. No, I need to work really hard to get my my dreams come true. I want to do Marvel. I want to do like why not? I'm going to be like the first maybe superhero from Egypt. You never know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you still have any? Do you still do projects in Egypt?
Right now, yeah, of course, I'm getting all these offers. But the thing is, I'm trying so hard to focus here right now after doing this success here. The fact it's like back-to-back movies, I think I started to get more gigs and more auditions and stuff, and I don't want to lose that. I worked really hard for years in order to reach that.
That makes sense. So if you went to Egypt now and filmed a movie for 6 months, you might lose some of the momentum that you're gaining here.
Yes, which I always been doing. Like I always been doing. Like go there, do my thing, and then come back. And we have to be honest, man. Like going back and forth all the time, it's not gonna make it. And just like no, you need like anybody in order to to be successful in whatever they love. Like they need to focus. And I just reached to a point that it's not working. Like of course it's pretty cool that you're working all the time over there. Getting the best deals and everything, but where exactly your passion and what you want to achieve? Do you just want to do like another feature film over there, or maybe another season of a show, or like another TV show, whatever? But for me, what's so hard that I can achieve, and a lot of people would be really proud of me and be supportive, and this is something big, so this is something new. So I'm focusing here right now in Hollywood, doing my thing, and getting ready to do more and more and more. For sure, at a certain point, would love to do one of the films or TV shows that I'm always getting offered to do over there. But for now, I'm focusing here for sure.
That makes a lot of sense. I didn't really think about the momentum thing when I asked the question, but it makes total sense.
Yeah.
This is a little bit out of order, but you kind of get the best of both worlds where you're now not only starring in and producing a Hollywood movie, but you do get to also go to Egypt to do it with Dark Castle. I don't know how much you can say on that because I think it's kind of early in stages. But
it is early stage. We're developing now a feature film. And first of all, like each one of us as an artist, we always have a project that we're so in love with, we're so passionate about. So this show and this film, I always had the dream of making this film. And of course, like if you're asking me like 5-6 years ago, I would have like, no way this would be able to happen. But now, I think I'm really lucky to to collab with such a great people, and Newcastle is very well known here in Hollywood. So we're still in the development side. I'm glad that I came up with this story. They hired a really good writer. So we're in the process right now of developing the story. It's about an Egyptologist, and it's going to be scenes between here and over there in Egypt. And I think we're missing this kind of films for a while, because so far it's like a handful of films that you and I can even remember or recall. And the fact it's kind of like belongs to my roots, where I come from and all that, I think it makes a lot of sense to develop something like that, rather than just do like develop like another action film or something. So I think every one of us has his own sort of like project that he really has so much passion that he wants to do. So was one of my sort of like really close projects for me that I always wanted to do. So I put so much effort, so much thoughts into it, and I think it's going to be really good. Hopefully, when it's the script is done and we get into production and stuff.
That's awesome. I didn't know that you also came up with the story. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's my story. I always wanted to do that, man.
Yeah, that's really awesome that you have this passion project, and now with the work you've been putting in, like you've kind of paid your dues, where now you get to do one for you.
Yeah, for sure. And actually, it's not just for me. It's like for the whole world. I think it's a great film, and I think people really enjoy it. Since not a lot of them, in market, and it takes a while to develop one of those projects. But I'm going to be doing what I'm doing, also because I'm really interested also in other genres, just like I did, in Egypt. I did the drama, the good guy, the bad guy, villain, the romantic. So I'm really sort of like, what's the right word? But I'm always really into like doing more and more and more diverse sort of like different genres and different characters. I think my win here so far from the two feature films that I did was the fact that I did non-stereotype roles.
Yes, for sure.
And that's for me was like, oh my God, thank God that I was able to do that, because you don't get that much chance in Hollywood to do something like that. Like you always don't have much choice to do whatever but it just happened that that the first feature film, Script is Settled, it wasn't a stereotype role. It wasn't one of these roles that you were okay, so you're from Europe, so you play this, or you're like from from the Middle East, you do these kind of like a baddie or whatever. So I was really glad that, especially with A Day to Die, I think this is a huge term for me. The fact that I'm doing a detective at Reynolds with his chief of police, Bruce Willis, Alston, which I'm really flattered to have the chance to work with such a legend, and with the rest of the cast. I mean, we had an amazing cast in the film. I think I'm playing a good guy. That was really something pretty cool. Which and I like the film because it's unpredictable. You cannot it's not one of these feature films that you're watching and you can predict what's going to happen, which was pretty cool. The fact that you're struggling, you want to you implement law, you want to do the right thing, you don't care what are the consequences, what's going to happen to you, and then you bring down the bad guys and all that. I think that was pretty, because we usually play the bad guys. We're the one that go to jail and get killed or whatever. So I was just like, to start off, I was really happy that I didn't get killed in this film. So just put it this way.
Especially because it's a film that even the protagonists are kind of bad guys in a way. So you actually got to play like the true good guy.
Yeah. I'm like, holy shit. The first time I got the script, I'm like, really? No, there's something has to be like, there's a twist at the end. There's something happening, but it was really cool. And I give credit for all the for everybody to be honest. Like first, with Wes Miller, the director, giving me the opportunity with Andrew, the producer. I really thank him so much for believing in me and giving me this great opportunity.
How did you get the opportunity? Was it like open casting and you read the script and said, that sounds great, let's go for it?
Yeah, it started like that. You just do your audition. And I think my previous film helped a lot, to be honest. So right after I got a call back, the cool thing is Andrew, the producer, and Wes Miller, the director, they asked for materials that they want to see like some of my work and stuff. And I think Score to Settle sort of like helped the process as well.
Very cool. Yeah, that seems to be a trend. I mean, I'm definitely an outsider on your industry, but from what I follow as a fan, that seems to be the trend where one project leads to another, and it's this kind of exponential growth where you can leap forward at a point, and it makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just like hoping for the better. I honestly like the fact that most of my scenes with Bruce, that was really something pretty cool, to be honest. Like if you watch the film, like throughout the film, I think my character I was really lucky to most of my scenes is with Elsa and Bruce Willis. The action scenes that got, we had a lot of rehearsals in those action scenes that came out really, really good. Like really good.
Yeah, they definitely did. The movie looks very big.
It looks like on the screen it's like really like very rich and expensive, you know what I mean? Like,
every dollar's on that screen.
And the fact like you see all these blowing up cars and explosions and all these shooting and everything, and it's all this you're watching the film is real. It's not post production. It's not it's real. And I'm like, wow, and after got edited out, and the first time I watched it was in New York. And the cool thing about it, like the coolest thing ever, was watching the film with the audience during our film premiere that we just had in New York.
Oh, so your first time seeing the complete cut was the premiere?
Yeah.
Oh, that's insane. I figured you would have had like a screener or something at home before the premiere.
No,
that's awesome.
I could have, but I just like prefer to. I want to hear the I want to hear the audience. I want to
100%,
see the feedback, what they like, what like. So I think I always like to wait and see what's to watch it with like premiere or screening, whatever. But I think it was pretty cool just to be in the theater with everybody else, watching the film and getting the feedback right after the film. I think it was pretty cool. They didn't expect my character to do that, throughout the film, and at the end, I think it was really surprising. But I gotta say, I had an amazing time shooting with Bruce Willis. Such a gentleman, such a legend, man. Like he's so down to earth, really respectful actor.
That's great to hear.
Yeah, I really enjoyed working with Bruce and the rest of the cast, to be honest. Like in between scenes, it's really nice. We talk and everything. And then I learned something that, it doesn't matter if between the scenes it took like an hour, 45 minutes, whatever. But once they say ready, this dude in like no second, he turned into Alston all of a sudden and just jumped into the scene. And we had a lot of fun shooting the film.
Very cool, yeah. And I didn't get to see your previous, which just blanking on the name now.
Score to Settle?
Yeah, Score to Settle. Was that as action heavy?
Yeah, actually, yeah. It was the difference between both is they're both are action movies, right? But the difference is it was me, Nicolas Cage, Benjamin Bratt were like all one mob. That's why at the beginning of the film you see us in like in a young age. Total different look for me. And then there's like an 18 years later. You can people can watch the film on Amazon and different other streaming right now, or order it. But I think the fact we were all one group and one mob sort of, and something went wrong. So Nick Cage had to go to jail for like supposedly like a couple of years, end up like for like 18 years or so. So he's like coming out for revenge
Okay.
after me, and he wants to look around for me. So I played Jimmy the Dragon, and the reason the name is because I had like a dragon tattoo all over my body, and Jimmy the Dragon, he doesn't fear death. He doesn't fear to get killed. Doesn't fear anything. And this is the worst thing you can ever have is not to fear death. So if you don't fear death, what else you fear of? Like there's nothing worse than
Right.
death. So he doesn't care. Like he when he confront him, it's like a badass action scenes between both. And I think I enjoyed doing this film too. So it was like kind of like I wouldn't say just like like the bad guy. No, actually, the whole mob were like it's a mob. So
Right.
but
That's
I think
cool.
I liked it too because it's way different from A Day to Die. So I get to do different things like back to back, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, and you've been working with, I mean, Nicolas Cage, now Bruce Willis, and even Frank Grillo, who's super famous for doing
Oh
like
yeah,
really
yeah.
intense action movies. That guy seems like he's just dialed all the way up when he's doing these
I
action movies.
exactly. Yeah, he's such a great guy. Frank Grillo, Kevin Dillon, Leon, Brooke, Vernon. We had an amazing cast.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone really gelled well together. It did seem like everybody in that crew had known each other. I mean, I know that was the job, but it really
Yeah,
sold it.
yeah. I would say like really good synergy. Like we had a really good vibe. Like that's why like we're really excited every day. We're going on set. Like we really want to do this. Like you're not like just like okay, that's another day. No, like we really had that passion, all of us. And I think it comes from also Wes Miller because it was really cool, like really calm. He wants everything's perfect. So I think we all wanted this like to be like the best picture ever.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like everyone was happy to be doing their role.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
also really cool for you because not only you're working with Bruce Willis, but your scenes with Bruce Willis, you're kind of dominating him. Like you're like above him, speaking down to him, your characters. Um, and to take, you're a relative newcomer to Hollywood, and then you take like an action screen legend like that, and the scenes they're all there. It's totally viable. So great job.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And that wasn't easy, man.
I'm sure it wasn't.
That wasn't easy. But like I was really happy doing these scenes, and as you said, it's not an easy thing. I really enjoyed it. Like especially like I grew up watching Bruce Willis films. I grew up watching Die Hard. Like watching all these films, and now I get to be opposite him, like head to head, and doing all these intense scenes. I think that was just a great man. Like it's a dream come true for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's so cool. Well, Mo, I appreciate your time. The
Oh,
movie
thank
was
you.
a lot of fun. For people listening, A Day to Die is available now on VOD, and it has a theatrical run too, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have in New York, in California, in Chicago, and in Miami, like in different like selected theaters all over. And I think it's going to be all over the world pretty soon, like in Europe, Middle East, Asia, everywhere.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Mo, do you have anything else you want to plug or your socials or anything?
I just want to say thank you so much for having me, Adam. And I really wish people would love the film. And thanks for all the support. I really want to do something different here in Hollywood. I want to do something even bigger and bigger and bigger. And I always wanted the support. And anybody can reach me out on my social media. My Instagram is MK _ Karim, MOHAMED Karim. And on Facebook, it's Mo Karim Official, and Twitter, it's Mo Karim Star. So, would love to chat with you guys.
Very cool. Well, Mo, thanks again. Great job on the movie, and best of luck with your next project.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. Thanks for having me.
I'd like to thank Mo Karim for taking time out of his very obviously busy life to talk to me about his newest movie, A Day to Die, and the rest of his journey up till now, which has been fascinating. I mean, medical school and acting and working them simultaneously, that's insane. Being an international star before coming to Hollywood and now working with Nicolas Cage and Frank Grillo and Bruce Willis, also insane. The guy has already lived tons of life and has a long way to go, and I think has a very strong career in front of him. So that was a really exciting conversation. We're hoping to have him back on the show with his new thing coming out that we talked about a little bit, his Dark Castle kind of globe-trotting U.S. and Egypt movie, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. Please remember to like and subscribe. We have a lot more interviews, new movie coverage, screener coverage, all that awesome stuff coming your way. You're not going to want to miss out. Make sure you listen to So Wizard Podcast every single week wherever you get your podcasts. So Wizard Podcast can also be found on Patreon, where for as little as $1 a month, you get multiple monthly bonus shows, audio and video. SoWizardPodcast.com is your resource for reviews, recommendations, videos, merchandise, and more. We love hearing feedback, so drop us a note in the comments, leave us something on social media. All the accounts will be found after the show and in the show notes. And on a more personal note, a very good friend and I have an ongoing comedy comic series. It's called Social Studies. It's a slice-of-life comedy comic about the high school experience, all the insanity that goes along with it. We write it like a sitcom. We have a ton of fun doing it, and we cram it all through the prism of the 90s cartoons that we grew up on, we love, and inspired us. We've been getting a lot of great feedback on the nostalgia front, a lot of great feedback from kids of the early high school age. We've been having a lot of fun interacting with people who have read it, so you can find 8 issues available now on socialstudiescomic.com or on Comixology. We're working on Comixology Unlimited. We have more issues done and just waiting for the printer to catch up. This whole COVID thing and insanity in the world has made things slow down a little bit, but there's tons of stuff to read. socialstudiescomic.com. Thanks.